So I finally started working on the Crested Gecko enclosure. This is his current temporary setup. I will use that same enclosure, but the setup inside will be completely different. It will be replaced by this. You can see it is currently in works. I am trying to make an imitation of a tree trunk out of styrofoam. This was one big styrofoam table that I cut in half, and then that other half I cut on another half of a half, and I silicone those two pieces one on each other, and then that big piece I silicone here. And I made these carvings. I didn't actually record this process because I wasn't entirely sure if I will get this to work. I never really carved anything like this big and a bit more complex, and I think that it turned out really nice, so I'm confident to record the next steps. The original idea was to make this background just random bumps, but then I decided to, as you can see, I will cut it like this, and I will carve this part like a branch, and then out of this part that I will remove, I will make another branch that I will attach here, and all of that I will record. Then once this is complete, I cover everything with black silicone, and then I will throw a lot of peat moss on that silicone, and once it's cured it will be, you know, just like I did with my other backgrounds. Now regarding the actual enclosure, I also didn't record the building process because it's completely the same like my frog vivarium. So if you want to see how that is done, I will link the video how I built from scratch this enclosure, and the same rules applies to this. Only thing is, this enclosure has door that opens on front like this, and this enclosure will have plexiglass doors that opens like, you know, standard closet, and I will record that process. But everything else, it's completely the same like this one. Completely the same. So now I will use the jigsaw to cut this and this, and from what I also researched, there are some sort of wires that get hot, and then you can easily cut the styrofoam, but I won't experiment because I don't have anything like that. I have the jigsaw and I know it works. It's a bit messy, but it works, so I will do that. And also I forgot to mention, here I made a hole. You see, this will be a height that Crested Gecko will hopefully use. Just like a hole in the tree. I think it will be perfect. Let's cut this now. Somehow I managed to cut off this branch that was here, and I wasn't supposed to do that, but since I was cutting from this side, I don't have it marked, and I just cut it off. But it shouldn't be a big problem because once I shape it, I will just attach it with the silicone. It should work. The way I shaped the styrofoam, I used the cutting knife to take the big chunks, and then I used some rough sandpaper to make exact forms or shapes. This part will be like this, like some root that is going outside from the main trunk, and you will see how I do that. So, cutting knife, and cut the edge. Now you see, now I have the rough formation, and then I just take the sanding paper and just like that. And you can do something like this to add some details. You see, like that. And for example, I don't want this to be just one straight solid edge, so I will do like some sort of hole or something like that. Just add some details and try to be creative. This is the place where your creativity can really shine. And don't be afraid to experiment. Right, I made the basic shape for two branches. I don't really like We will see how it will look once I attach it and make some additional carvings. I will use silicone to attach this, but first I will add a few of these sticks, the toothpicks, so it holds while the silicone cures. Something like that. And now the same thing for this branch, but for that I will use the expanding foam because I need to do some additional carvings to this side. And I used this one a long time ago, so I hope it still works. The toothpicks. The moment of truth. Now let's see how this will expand. I hope not too much. Now the foam is dry and we can do the final carvings. I will also make some changes to the branches because I'm not really satisfied how they look. And I will form this part and also a bit details here and here. But majority of stuff is complete. So let's carve. I think I'm finished, not sure. Majority is complete, I would say, and I think that it looks nice. Now I will take it outside and try to blow as much particles of styrofoam that I can, because now we need to cover everything with silicone, so then we can cover it with sphagnum moss and cocoa fiber and all that lovely stuff. So let's do that. Now seriously. Just a second. There, if you for some reason thought that messy part is over, we are just getting started, because we need to smear the silicone over everything with black silicone, and then we have a bunch of substrate that will go on that silicone. Cocoa fiber, sphagnum moss, I'm not sure which one I will use, and I won't go into greater details. If you want to see how exactly this technique works, there are older videos. I will link some of it here. Oh no, where is the... yeah, here. This corner. Let's get down to business. Now I will cover this part with sphagnum moss. I will cover it with sphagnum moss. I need to remove these gloves first. Whoa! It looks some of the silicone got through. Now first I want to fill this hole, and then we will do the rest. Let's see how this goes. It is really cold outside, so I'm forced to do this inside, but it's really messy. Alright, as you can see, we skipped a lot of stuff. First I decided that I don't really need to record and show you the whole process of me putting sphagnum moss all over the styrofoam. You already understand the basic principle, and this is the end result. And you saw it already in full collection tour. I also siliconed it to the enclosure, to the back and the side of the enclosure, so it is fixed. I added this, as you can see, clay balls. They are the drainage area of the enclosure, so that way if you add too much water to a substrate, it will actually drain in this layer, so that way substrate won't stay soggy and full of moisture. And also I use this mesh you see on top of the clay balls, so that way substrate won't come down into the drainage layer. And my apartment is in terrible, and I mean terrible mess. I just can't wait to move to new space, so my apartment won't look like a workshop whenever I record a video. I also promised you that I will show you how I made these front doors. But I was still figuring out the whole process, and I had a bit of misfortune. You can see I broke a piece here and stuff didn't really work out as I expected it to work out. In the end I fixed everything and it is working, as you can see. I'll just show you. These are the doors. You see they work. You have ventilation here, ventilation on top, so that way you have cross ventilation. I added this to stop doors from going too much inside. I don't know. But I will be also making another enclosure. As you know, I have the same current gecko enclosure. It's the same like this one and it only needs doors. And that one will be used for my jungle nymphs. They also need big enclosure. So in that video I will show you exactly how I made these doors. Because now I think I have it covered. Probably. This will be a real life situation test. Also, I made some fake vines. They will go somewhere inside. I still didn't figure it out. But yeah, I made 3 of these, and if you're wondering how I made them, I have a dedicated video so you can click. I never know what side it is. This side. Click on this side to see the video how to make fake vines. It is really easy. So now, add substrate, add plants, add fake vines, add leaf litter. Even though I don't have any more leaf litter, I will take some from the centipede enclosure, just until I get a new batch. The substrate is mixture of leaf litter, sphagnum moss, cocoa fiber, charcoal. It is the same thing that I used in dark frog enclosure. Thankfully I have enough substrate. That is really good. I was a bit scared that there won't be enough, but it is good. Now to add plants, let me just wash my hands. Actually I need to add vines first. I will need these pinheads for fixation. Originally what I wanted, since I used sphagnum moss on this tree trunk, I wanted to use cocoa fiber for fake vines, but I forgot and I just used the same sphagnum moss. And the idea was to get some different texture. It adds some additional details and depth and real nice. Okay, now to add plants. I have this Bromeliad and I'm not entirely sure if it will be humid enough for him, but I will be misting him and hopefully he will do fine. We will see. If it won't work out, I will just remove it. Also, I have this plant and a little bit of these guys and these guys. Let's add them. I will add these here because they look like they're maybe climbing, so hopefully they will catch on to this vine and go up. I don't know. We will see how that will turn out. Now these little guys, I will add them somewhere down there. You see, these vines are also nice because you can attach stuff to them. I will use the screwdriver to make a hole in the styrofoam, and then I can easily just push the tip of Bromeliad in that hole. Alright, very nice. Now last thing, leaf litter. I hope Devil won't mind me stealing his leaf litter. Not much, but enough. Also what I forgot, isopods and springtails. These are the isopods, so I'll just grab them and sprinkle them around. Maybe a bit too much. Now springtails. As you know, springtails and isopods eat all the bad stuff inside your enclosure. like mold, fungi, food leftovers, poop, everything. That's why they are called the cleanup crew, because they clean stuff and they are crew. Makes sense. And here we are, the enclosure is complete. I'm really satisfied how it turned out, and I'm pretty sure the gecko will love it. Now, even though I planned to transfer the gecko in this enclosure in this video, I decided to postpone it to next video because I freshly made this enclosure. I mean, I used the glue to connect the sides, I used the silicone to connect some other stuff, and there is still that chemical smell, so I'm afraid that it will hurt the gecko, so just in case we won't be transferring him now, it will be in the next video. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this build video, even though I'm still learning stuff and how to properly do this, but it is really fun, you should try it. That is the only way to succeed, by trying, no other way. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs it up and comment something. If you want to support this channel even more, there's a Patreon page. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. I upload every Monday and Friday, so see you again soon. Bye!